when I go into like a country gas station, this is so fun to do. Like, you know, when there's like, they have all that weird shit in there, you know, like all these weird fucking just knickknacks and trinkets and who the fuck, you know? And I like when there's like, you can tell the person's worked there forever, you know? And like, they've had this thing in there for 15 years. They've been trying to sell. Some guy convinced them to put it in the shop and it's still there. So I try to find the weirdest thing I can. And then I'll walk up to the register and I'll go, this is gonna be weird, but do you guys have, I want like a dream catcher, but I want it to have like it's gonna sound weird, but I want it to have like a wolf with like devil horns and like purple feathers. Do you have anything like that? And then you see their face go, oh my God, I do have one of those. Holy shit. I'm going to sell the thing. I'm going to be the guy that sells the thing. And he takes me over to it and he goes, like a cat showing you a dead bird.
No way.
And I look him right in the face and I go, no, I wanted a bigger one. And then I don't buy it.
Oh my God, you're brutal. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.
The story I want to start with is, so, and this is a bit I'm working on, but this happened for real. I about 3 weeks ago, I took a bunch of mushrooms and I tried to teach a dog how to tell time. So here's what I was at a Mexican restaurant and my friends have this amazing, cute 3-month-old Pomeranian puppy. She's adorable, but she was barking a little bit. And my thing is, look, if I was at a table where I didn't have a dog and somebody had a dog, I'd want them to not make it. I'd want them to try to get them to not have it bark. Right? They don't have. If the dog barks, but just at least act like you care.
Right.
That's all I want.
Don't go like
just like.
So,
like
how's your day?
This guy was at my pool a couple weeks ago, and he was standing in the front of my apartment, like just standing there. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't want to track water all over your house." And I go, "Once I know that you think that, you can do whatever you want."
Right.
The thing I'm upset about is if you just walk around my house all wet like no one gives a fuck about anything. That bothers me. But once you say sorry once and you're on the team, then I don't need you to be sorry all the time. Right?
Right. Have respect to pretend you care at least. At least.
Well, not pretend. I really can tell the difference when someone's, because, you know, if you pretended to care, you would walk through my apartment going, sorry, instead of standing there until I got you a towel.
Right.
It's a difference. But anyway.
Exactly.
So I wanted the dog not to bark. So there was this whole plate of fajita chicken somebody hadn't eaten. So I took a piece of chicken and I gave it to the dog and I pulled out my phone. I said, all right, dog, if you don't bark for 10 more minutes, I'll give you more chicken. I started my timer and I showed it to the dog. Now, I didn't think I could make a dog tell time. I'm not stupid. But here's what I was hoping I could do. I was thinking that if I could teach a dog that if it barked, it got no chicken. And if it didn't bark, it got chicken. And the longer it didn't bark, the more chicken it got. I felt like that was a good lesson for a dog to learn. So I did this for an hour, you know, because mushrooms.
Because mushrooms.
And here's what happened. I did it 6 times because I did the full 10 minutes. No matter when it barked, I did the full 10 minutes. So first 3 times, she barked at 7 minutes. And I gave her a little bit of chicken. Then finally she barked at 8 minutes, I gave her more chicken. Then she barked at 9 minutes, I gave her more chicken. Last time she didn't bark for the full 10 minutes, I gave her all the chicken. Now, I don't know if the dog learned anything, but here's what I learned. The key to life is waiting the full 10 minutes. The problem we have is we panic and we bark at 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever, and we don't wait the full time. We get impatient. I should have this already. Why am I not ahead of that person? Why did this person get that? And it's because it's not your time yet, man. The reason you don't get your soulmate is the first is because you'd fuck it up. Right? You got ready. You got to fuck up some relationships and figure out what relationships are and what you're looking for and what it's about before you get the person you're supposed to be, you know?
Right.
So
don't try to go to level 10 when you're on level 1.
Just wait. Just give it a second, you know? And so in the bit, I'm like, so there's all those barks. You know, there's that 5-minute bark. That's when you're like 22 and you're sure no one's going to love you, so you panic and marry the wrong person and ruin the next 3 to 38 years of your fucking life.
3 to 38, right? Because if you get past 3, it's like...
Right? there's that 6-minute bark, you know, where it's like... You at 28, you take that job you swore you'd never take because you're just so tired of being poor.
Right.
You're getting some chicken, but it's in a break room. That sucks. You don't want that, right? And there's that 7-minute bark. You're getting better. There's that, I'm an actor, but it's in porn. You know, it's not the same. Like you hear in the movies, but you can't show your dad. That's got to suck, right? There's that 8-minute bark. I'm famous on TikTok. Yeah, it's not the same thing. I mean, it's cool. I'm not an anti-TikTok. I'm not one of those guys, but like you're mouthing other people's words. You're not Richard fucking Pryor. Calm down. There's that 9-minute bark. This is the hardest one to get away from if you're purple. That's you're the richest person in Terre Haute, Indiana. You can buy a shit ton of chicken in Terre Haute, Indiana. But I'm from Indiana. That shit's dry as fuck. That's not the chicken you want. You got to wait the full 10 minutes, my friend.
Patience, baby.
Patience. But that's what I've been working on. I've been working on patience.
Yes.
And so the thing that's sort of been cool is like I've been looking at like even cannoli here.
Yeah.
Instead of, because I've been impatient my whole life for no real reason.
Me too, man.
My girlfriend at one point was like, I've been with her 10 years. She goes, and I've never had a job. I've just kind of been this guy forever. And she goes, you know, man, you've always been in such a hurry. You've never had anywhere to go. Like you're raging in traffic to get home and sit on your couch and play computer baseball. Why are you so angry? And I'm like, fuck, you know, why am I so angry?
Right.
So what I've been learning through these is like now when something's going on, instead of a fucking it's a problem, I see it as a hero's trial.
Yes.
So if I can get through the dog barking, if I can get through the thing. So same night of the dog, we're at this Mexican restaurant, and there's this group of people. We're in the back, and we're trying to watch the basketball game as the NBA play-in games or whatever. And there's these 3 doctors. They're standing up in the middle of the bar, in the middle of the so you can't see the TVs, and they're in the middle. The waitresses have to walk around. It's just an inconsiderate piece of shit place to stand as a person. And so I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Why would you do that? Sit down, Jesus. And I'm getting so impatient, and I'm like, you know what? This is a hero's trial. Fuck this. Don't worry about it. Quit being an idiot. Doesn't matter. No one. This is your dad's thing he put on you. No one has to be in
right.
Whatever, right? So I fucking got up. I took a walk around the block. I came back. I'm like, I wasn't mad anymore. Rest of the night, we drinking, party shots, eat food, whole thing, right? The doctor that was in my way came over and knew one of the guys at the table finally. He was like, oh, you're with these guys? Tells the waitress, all this stuff's on me. And he bought our whole fucking thing.
Wow.
And I was like, well, there you go. I didn't yell at the guy, and now he paid our bill. Or if I'd
Absolutely.
yelled at him, now he thinks I'm a dick, and I don't pay the bill, and he still isn't going to learn his lesson. Who the fuck are you? So shut up.
I understand what you're saying more than you can imagine. We were just talking about this last podcast or last interview earlier today about like flipping the script on that, because I used to get in fights all the time because I'd be like defending the honor that somebody told me I was supposed to maintain.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a long process. I'm happy to share with you. It's just I keep talking about it. They're like, oh my God, another fucking story. You just told this story. But at some point after my divorce, and I started looking at myself and reading books, honestly, learning from others, I was like, fuck, man, I'm taking shit personally that I don't at all have to. And how's that working out for me? And I've been getting so much more of what I want by not taking anyone's shit personally as much as possible. Sometimes I slip, but then I just catch myself and go, wow, I'm getting really angry right now. Why?
Yeah, and I had an impatience. I never had that. Like I've always said, I've never been offended.
Same.
I've never
patience.
been
Expectations don't get met, and then you get impatient. I get angry. Now it came out with anger, maybe for me in some cases, or complaining. It wasn't always fights. I'm just saying that was part of like what I was dealing with.
I was bumping on the other thing. Like so, like I've just never been offended. I've never felt disrespected. I've never felt like anyone disrespected me in my whole life, not once.
See,
I'm sure they have. It just never occurred to me.
Great, yeah.
And so one of the things I also am kind of looking at now, and I watched the Friends reunion. It's so weird. I watched the Friends reunion, and I started watching Friends again. And one of the tropes of Friends is that Monica's mother is like this fucking nothing's ever good enough for her, and blah 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 blah. Right? Well, I just bought into that when I was 30 or 22 when I watched that show the first time or whatever, right? But now that I know what I know about people...
Cough break? Ooh.
that
was heavy.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm thinking maybe sometimes...
Wow.
Sometimes when some people just take everything as an offense. Right?
Yes.
Like,
I think what
anxiety, here's what anxiety is, I think, because I've been studying this too.
Yeah.
I think what anxiety is, and I don't know if people doesn't think it exists, anxiety is a huge thing. I think the smarter you are, the more anxiety you have, because on some level, and this is if you have a good memory, like, do you have a good memory? I have a really good memory. Like I have a really good memory, like an amazing memory.
For some things, yes. For most things, no.
No, see, I don't I don't have eidetic or anything like that, but I've got a really good like I can remember lots of shit.
Like
all the time.
Story type memory, or like dates, facts, See, I don't have that.
I know the rosters of football teams and
Got it.
baseball
No.
teams. Like just, I mean, not all of them, but like
Yeah.
I know basically probably. I mean, I'm just a good. I know a lot of trivia essentially.
Yeah.
But, I lost my train of thought. Where are we going now? Anyway, March 16th, 2020, we started a show on Zoom called the Social Distancing Social
Wow.
Club.
On that day.
On that day, I went to Steve's house
Right.
and I'm like, everyone's gonna be in their house for 3 to 7 months. And everybody's like, it's gonna be 3 weeks. I'm like, fuck you. The NBA shut down. This is gonna be a while. Okay. Like I knew that. I mean, I literally thought I thought it was gonna be way worse of an apocalypse than it was. Like I thought, and I'm, by the way, I'm not a tinfoil person. Like, here's when I knew we were fucked. And this is where we all know when we're fucked. When Fox News and CNN say the same thing at the same time, fucking worry about it. That's some real shit. That's another thing. We'll talk about the pandemic, about a bunch of shit of the pandemic. But that first day, I was like, this is going to be 3 months at least where people are inside with nothing to do.
Right, man.
Steve, let's do something. Because we'd already done some virtual reality comedy. Like Steve was trying to figure out a way to tour without touring before this started. And there was VR and stuff, but it wasn't, you're a cartoon. It's not the same, you know? It's like, it's just kind of weird. But like with Zoom, there was all this technology there. So we just literally, Steve's a tech guy, thank God. And Ben does a lot of tech stuff too. So we figured out how to they built a digital comedy club where we learned how to have a live audience that you could hear laugh. You would have, they have, it's called the Nowhere Comedy Club. But they have like hunter killers. Like my girlfriend's one of their techs, so like she'll watch the show, and if somebody has a bird in the background, the box lights up and she mutes them, so it doesn't affect the show. So like guys like Mike Birbiglia, who are big comics, he was selling out. I think the numbers right here, but he was selling like 1,000-person shows 6 times a weekend, once a month. He would do 6 1,000-person shows on Zoom at $25-$30 a ticket, people from all over the world, right? And so we started that like the very first day. And so we started our show, which it was 5 days a week when it started. We had 2 comics, and then we have a girl producer, Rachel, who reads our tips and stuff. It's all tip-based. It's all Patreon and tips. And
I gotta say the laughter is key, because I watch some of my comedian friends who I have a lot do online comedy with no laughter, and it's just it doesn't work, man.
Well, I've said since this started, the thing that networks didn't get, like with Colbert and all that, what they didn't understand is the networks thought the laugh track was so the audience knew when to laugh, and that's true in a sitcom. But when it's a comedian, the laughter so the comedian doesn't commit suicide. Right. Like it's our air. Like if you don't hear laughs, you're like, why is this not working? No one's talking. Oh my God, I'm going to shoot myself. Here? I mean, you saw Colbert, these professional comedians like make a joke and there's no laughter. Like this, what am I doing? And they just fucking fall in on themselves instantly, because laughter's what. I mean, and on some level, you know, comedy is I'm a musician, but the audience is the instrument.
Yes. Wow.
And so without the guitar, what the fuck am I doing? Right? So the key was the audience. So but we needed them to laugh. But what was crazy was that, so this group, so we'd have 2 comics on, the show lasts like an hour and a half, and then one of the guys on the show, so we all brought kind of our little fans in. Steve brought a ton. So our first show, like 20,000 people watched the first day, because everyone was home. The Steve Hofstadter thing pops up their YouTube. They're one of his subscribers. Because again, that's subscribers, not views. He has 500,000 subscribers, which are people that follow his channel. Right. So it popped up in all their feeds, and 20,000 of them watched the first day, and we made like $2,300. And so we started this scholarship where, I think we gave out 28 $1,000 scholarships to comics in the pandemic who had lost work. So you applied, you had to have a certain amount of whatever. So this community built around this. And then one of the guys in that community, we did the Zoom, and he said, we should do a Zoom after the show and talk about it. So they opened this Zoom, and it ran 24 hours for 8 months. These people were in a Zoom, a group of 100 to 500 people were in a Zoom for 8 months, because they were all by themselves in their houses. They were good progressives. They weren't going to go outside. They weren't going to break the rules. They were going to quarantine like they were supposed to, and they were home by themselves, and they just trauma bonded.
Was this recorded?
Not the Zooms. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm just saying these people were in there, and they were by themselves. Right. There's 2 of them are getting married as soon as they open the border to Canada. Like they haven't seen each other yet, and they're engaged to be married, planning their wedding. They talk. I mean, like this became this community of people, and it just kind of changed everything. So like that's what I do now is 4 days a week I do this show, and I've got this group of people that we got them through the pandemic, and now they tip, and there's Patreons, and today was fucking Fan Friday, and they come in and we do challenge. I mean, it's just that it's the first. So you know how like a sports talk radio show, there's like people that call in. This is like that on steroids because it's on video. So like our Patreons,
Right.
like if you're a front row Patreon, you get to be in the Zoom with us every day,
Right.
and you're on camera. So like
And you're
at the
showing
end,
different views, like
well, no, it's the host all the time, but like in
Yeah.
the beginning, so the first thing we do is introduce the video front row. So Ben will go through and say everybody's name, and they get introduced, and they're on, and they have fun backgrounds. Sometimes they'll have a takeover, and they'll all be wearing chicken suits because there's a front row planning committee where they do stuff
you
we
can
don't
use
know
filters
about.
and shit.
Oh, they use
God
filters, but
damn.
they like will literally like we did two of our comics. They made a joke, called them Bert and Ernie. So I tricked them both on coming on together. They didn't know they were going to be on together, and then everybody dressed up like Bert and Ernie and had all this Bert and Ernie stuff. So when they turned their cameras on, it was Bert and Ernie. So it's hilarious. And the thing that's cool about comedy in this way is that you can see into people's houses.
Right.
So our buddy, there's a guy
Talk shit.
that watches our show that like had a fan behind him, and one day Ben goes, "Oh, the fan looks like it has eyes," and so then the next day he put a smiley face on the fan, like he just drew it on a piece of paper. It was hilarious. Well, then I said, "Oh, well, the thing he's not telling you is under that fan about 3 feet, there's a hole in the wall or whatever." And then we had this big joke about how he fucks his fan, and that's been for a year. Like people send him pictures of fans, people buy him fans for Christmas. It's like hilarious, but they're all friends now. And it's this big community, and it became this whole other thing, you know.
Holy shit,
and
man.
so it's like the first shows back in the wild were in March, and Steve happened to be in Indianapolis. And so that was where I'm from. I'm from Indianapolis. I used to own a comedy club in Indianapolis. And when we went out of business, I sold my club to the Helium people or whatever. And so I still know them. So they booked Ben the Tuesday. 50 people from all the United States got vaccinated and flew in for this fucking thing, for this show we did. It was crazy. So it was like the first time I ever had fans. It was just a weird, cool experience. But it's just been like, I don't know. So the pandemic's been fucking badass for me, man. It's
No,
been a
I
cool
get it,
ass
man,
thing.
because I we've talked about this a lot. It's a mindset where certain people had the best year of their life, even though it might have been challenging.
Right.
And it's really all comes down to the mindset. Like you're already, as soon as you see the game change, you go, okay, how do you play now? You don't get emotional about, oh no, when are things going to go back to the way they are? You're like, okay, we're all going to be at home. Let's fucking do Zoom. Let's create what you're already envisioning what's going to be created in a year, essentially, because it took people a while. I did react very quickly. We were, with my business partner in a company, and we went online right away because we were like, let's change. There were companies that went down quickly.
Well, and I told my girlfriend when this all started too. I go, here, the reason I'm not worried about this is because if everything goes to shit and we fucking don't pay rent for 10 months, they can't kick us out, blah, 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 blah. But if everything goes fucked and we have completely screwed our credit for the next however long, right? Because she's been worried about it. She's been doing a good job with her credit in her life, which is great.
Right, yeah.
Helps us, right? Well, everyone's going to get their credit fucked, so we'll be fine.
Right.
But that being said, if we can keep our credit up this whole time, then we'll be way ahead of the game.
Right.
So even if you look at Hollywood, in any business, entertainment, whatever, so many people fucking left.
Right.
Now there's all these opportunities.
Absolutely.
So my girlfriend was a bartender at Dave & Buster's here in Northridge.
Yeah.
Right. And she hated it because it was so high volume. It's $3 shot, college kids, whatever. It was just mayhem all the time, fights and all. It was terrible. So she was nervous about getting a job. And I said, look, all these people left. There's all these jobs in Hollywood that as servers where you make just $1 zillion and you make all these great contacts and you're like, I waited on Steven Spielberg today and shit like that, that no one leaves for their whole, once they get it, they never leave. But a bunch of those people went home and a lot of those people aren't coming back. Because I think there's people that were in this town for 15 years that didn't make it. They had a little, they had enough to stay. If they're a comic, they had 1 or 2 spots. Maybe they're a commercial here or there. But this broke their loop. And they went home to Massachusetts, and they were like, oh, man, what was I doing?
Right.
I was killing myself to get the same, and they just were like, I'm going to do something else. And they didn't come back.
Right. It wasn't for them.
It wasn't. There's a point where it's like, not everybody's going to make it.
Right.
I'm probably not going to make it. That's okay. I don't care if I make it. That's not what I'm here for. But but let's say I did come out here to make it. At some point, you go, yeah, it didn't happen. Sure. It's like when I see a guy that has the same jokes for 5 years. I'm like, dudes, if those jokes would have made you famous, they would have. Right. They're not gonna. That's why you're still here. Jesus.
I think you're gonna make it, for the record.
Well, I mean,
I think you're making it.
well, again, I am making it.
You're
I mean,
already
look,
doing it. You're just being humble
here's-
about it. But I think also like I feel like wow, where's this guy been? Kind of thing, which is in a good way. Like you have this like presence. You could host a show. When you say Colbert, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got a little Colbert in him. Just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
You could be, and with your photographic memory, like you said, you remember everything. You could be one of those late night hosts. Actually, that would be actually really.
Yeah,
really,
here's the thing. I didn't get into comedy to have a job.
yeah. You want?
I could have had a job this whole
time.
time. I just want to go on stage, get drunk, and make people laugh. I don't have any.
Yeah.
I don't need money. I don't need any of that shit. I want to live in my apartment the rest of my life in Hollywood, a mile from the comedy store. So you made it
already then.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm already.
You don't need.
What I mean, make it. I'm not trying to. What I'm saying is like. You know, like if I was a fucking star. I'm just saying these people that came out here to like be famous.
To be famous.
There's a point where it's like, well, it didn't happen, and that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm glad you took your shot, but like, now what are you gonna do?
But if you love what you're doing and you're making enough, then
right?
You stay.
And that's
the
where
problem
comedy.
Is they were here for the fame and money.
That's what I'm saying.
And are like, I'm not really down for the like work part of it.
Right. So they went home,
part of it,
and all of a sudden they didn't have to work so goddamn hard, and fucking gas isn't $6 and whatever. And they're like, and by the way, I'm not.
I know what you mean. There was an exodus a little bit because things got shaken up.
I was bumping on the gas thing. It bothers me when people talk about gas prices because let me tell you this. Here's the truth of life. The cheaper the gas, the shittier a place you're in. Every time.
Right.
Every time.
Right.
Gas prices are not indicative of a bad economy. They're indicative of a good economy.
Right.
Like, you've been to South Carolina, gas is like $1.90. It's awful. Right? Like...
You should be looking for the high prices.
Yeah, like even in a city, if you're in a bad neighborhood, the gas is $1 cheaper than everywhere else.
Now, if you're driving through, go ahead and grab some gas.
Sure.
But you don't want to be living there, probably.
Right.
If you can live better.
No, the reason that they have to make the gas cheaper is because you won't stop unless it's cheap, because it's a bad
risk reward.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, so that's not my. I don't really want to do any of that. What I want to do is. Be a comedy store comic.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do it in the reverse. Here's actually what I think would be cool.
Paint the picture for us.
What if you couldn't see me everywhere? Huh. What if you could only see me one place?
Which is online.
The comedy store. No, I'm saying what if I did all this online stuff and I was funny as shit, but if you wanted to see me do live comedy, you had to come to me.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Well, that's how the big boys do it.
No, they go to arenas.
True.
I don't need an arena.
Oh, you're saying keep it small.
I'm saying I'm going to only do the comedy store. Exclusive. And if you want to see Chris Bowers live, you have to fly to fucking Los Angeles and come to the comedy store. I'm not coming to your town.
That's pretty badass, I gotta say. You're sacrificing money, but
I don't
then
give a fuck about money.
But then you know what? The tickets will go up in price.
Well, and what I would do is I wouldn't even.
You would buy up all the tickets
I was thinking
and sell them on eBay.
This is my dream. I wouldn't even, if I could get to the point where that was a thing and people ever just, that was the thing. Like, because Rogan did that. Rogan built the comedy store.
Right.
Joe Rogan, whether you love him or hate him, he knows how to fucking get people to come
I love
to shit.
Joe Rogan, man.
And I'm just saying, people, I think he's done a great job. Fucking Rogan's the man, right?
Yeah.
And he's the reason the comedy store is the comedy store. Right. Right now. Like, it was a dark place for a while.
Sure.
He left. He took all those guys with him. And so, and again, this is a dream, but if I ever got to the point where like that was the thing and I was anti-mass media, you could only see me at the, and it became a thing, I wouldn't even want money from the comedy store. I would say, I just want you to, as long as this is a thing and a phenomenon and people are coming to see me, I want you to pay all the comics the money you be giving me, but pay them right, and fucking I get to fucking have a say in who they are. That's all I want. And fucking, that'd be how I would do it. And then I would live in my cool apartment and we'd fucking do shows and we'd have fun people come back and we'd talk and fucking
Would you make money elsewhere or don't you need gas for the car and for the jet?
I need $3,000 a month.
That's all you need.
That's my habit.
You don't want to fly anywhere. You just want to be in one place.
I've traveled my whole life. I've been all over this fucking place. I mean, I'll go to Australia, but like I don't need to go to Kansas anymore.
Right.
Right. Like I have these crazy red shoes on, right? And I was at Ben Gleib's birthday party, right? It's my first big Hollywood party. There's all these stars there and shit. I'm like, oh my God, you were in The Office. She's like, oh, thanks. Like fucking that kind of shit, you know? And somebody goes, oh, nice shoes. I go, thanks. They go, you should click your heels together. I go, fuck no. They go, why? I go, what if it worked?
Exactly.
So if I woke up tomorrow and this has been a fever dream and I lived in Indiana, I'd shoot myself in the fucking head, dude. And that doesn't mean I hated Indiana. Indiana was great. It was what I needed when I needed it. It was awesome. I'm just saying and I'm being kind of an arrogant prick right now, but I'm saying like that I think is kind of the move. Like that would be kind of a cool thing and whatever. I'm just saying like that's kind of in my own crazy brain eye, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
because I decided during the pandemic I'm never going to post on social media again to brag about anything. Like if in my heart of hearts I know this is to show the people in high school that I'm cool now, I don't post it.
Right.
I post things that are funny, and I post things that to show people where I'm going to be at. If there's people in LA that want to come see me, I'll put it on whatever.
Right.
If I can communicate this to you, this is the one. If I can communicate this to people and get them to understand what I'm saying and agree with it, I think it solves all the world's problems.
Let's do it.
Maybe I'm being hyperbolic.
I'm open,
but
man.
the thing
I'm
is
excited.
this. Most of the things you believe are just your parents' preferences.
Yep. Yeah.
End of sentence. Like, if your parents
100%.
didn't like you to turn the light on in the car, they told you it was fucking illegal, so you grew up your whole life thinking it's illegal, and then when you see someone put the light on in their car, you think, they're breaking the law. No, they're not. Their dad made that up, right? If your dad wouldn't turn up the thermostat, that was it. Or here's one. Turning off the lights in your house doesn't fucking save you any goddamn money. It might have in 1926 when electricity was new, but that's not something that we have to.
Yeah.
They said that doesn't
In
matter.
the grand scheme of things, it
like,
doesn't matter.
You have 3 refrigerators and you're making me turn off the fucking light.
Chris.
Shut up. So my point is like I've never done any of the chores I had to do as a kid, and nothing bad has ever happened.
Right.
Right.
Question everything. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. We talk about that all the time. That at some point in my life, now it took me till about really 35 to go, wow, I need to just throw everything out and start over, like question everything.
Yes. Well, because here's the thing.
You can still keep your old beliefs, but I
here's-
started questioning. I started saying what's real, what's not, what makes sense, what doesn't, versus assuming anything I learned before was fact. I had to go back and verify.
Here's
And I never verified before.
right. And the thing I've done to not, well, anyway, it's not just question. My thing is not question everything. My thing is, I just had the word. Fuck it, I lost it. Oh, no, just make sure everything's your original thought. When you believe something, you can be talked out of it because you thought it up.
Sure.
So if you have better information,
Right.
so let's this is my example. Like, so when you're in traffic, right, and it's going down to one lane, some people think you should wait in that big long line, and the people that pass on the left are assholes, and some people pass on the left and then merge in. Which camp are you in? Do you go all the way as far as you can and merge in at the last moment, or do you stand in the line? What do you do?
Oh, normally I'll go all the way and merge in. Yeah,
okay, that's what I do.
That's just how it goes. It flows.
That's called zipper merging.
I'll take the zipper.
That's called
approach.
zipper merging,
Yeah.
and that's what
But people get
traffic
upset.
engineers have told us will save everyone time.
Right.
The people that think you're being rude, you know who's being rude? When you line up in that line, the guy 100 cars back, it costs him 20 fucking minutes every car, or like 2 minutes every car, right? That lines up. When you zipper merge, it's better, right? Now, if you came to that conclusion on your own, let's say
I didn't realize that it was a proven.
It's a real thing. No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, right? So, but if you grew up, so let's say you're a person, right? And you've never seen this before. Let's say you're not.
You're a person.
You've never. Let's just ran a person. You've never seen a highway before. It's your first day in a car, right? You live in some small town. You get to the interstate. It goes down to one lane, and you have a choice. And you go, you know what? I'm going to get in the right lane. That seems like the most polite thing to do. Right?
Right.
And then later I told you, oh, no, zipper merging's better, da-da-da-da. You go, oh, okay, cool. Next time I'll do that.
Right.
Because you decided what that was.
Yes.
So you can have your mind changed.
Yes.
But if you're in a car as a child and your dad goes, look at these rude motherfuckers, pieces of shit, fuck you, and he swerved out or like had a gun, he's wrong. Your dad is wrong and stupid.
Right.
Right?
Or ignorant. Either one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe their IQ is high, but they're
it's solid. You're right. Ignorant. Ignorant's the right word. No, no.
Because my dad's very smart, but he is ignorant and closed-minded on some things.
Yeah, point taken. So anyway, they're ignorant. But my point is, it's going to be harder to talk that kid out of the fact that that guy's rude, right? Like if I came with someone on my own, if you came with someone on your own, I can talk you out of it. But if your talking point is Tucker Carlson's or Don Lemon's or fucking God's or your dad's, I can't talk you out of it because it's not your idea. So my thing is only have your own ideas.
Have your own ideas.
Whatever that is, whatever truth you have, come up with it yourself. Because then if it's wrong, somebody can talk you out of it. Because you can always get talked out of your own truths. You can't get talked out of somebody else's truths. That's the problem with religion.
I'm not a religious person at all. I'm open to the fact that some religion may have gotten it right. I'm just like more of a student of like what this experience like really, feels like, what works right, what works better, what's more effective. And then I am always open to the fact that whatever I'm doing currently might be improved on. So I'm like
Right.
flowing with like every interview I have, every person's story. I feel like I'm just becoming a slightly better player, not by much, because it's like at some point you get the basics down. You're like, all right, just take your time and just enjoy the ride at that point. Like when you're doing what you love, I feel like you can really enjoy. I've learned to enjoy the moments. Like you said, like I used to sit in traffic and curse the traffic. I used to expect that, why do I have to be here? Why do I have to be stuck? I wanted to leave LA because now I have a complete same person, but I just take advantage of that quiet time, or I make a phone call, or I just take the opportunity in it.
And that's my point. It goes back to the hero's trials for me or whatever. The point
you call it
is
the hero's trials.
Most I think self-help, most horoscopes, most therapy, most everything is either trying to convince and or trick your brain into knowing that it's in charge of itself.
Right.
The reason you're happier isn't any other reason than you decided to be happier.
Right.
You made a choice to change your commute from a terrible mind-sucking thing that you hate every day.
Right. Choices.
To a thing that you're okay with because you're listening to a podcast.
Right.
But it's a choice you made. It's the same drive.
Same drive.
There's all kinds of guys that lose their legs and then still ski and are happy as fuck. And there's all kinds of billionaires that are still fucking miserable. It's not what happens to you. It's how you decide to fucking be. It's not even how to decide to react. It's just if you just decide. I've got a buddy, and again, he has trauma, whatever, but he's just sad all the time. And I said, Logan, at some point, you just tell your brain to be happy. Because my brain's not in charge of my happiness. I go, let me ask you a question. We watch football every Sunday at my place. I go, when you come over to the Packers games, what do you do in the fourth quarter? Stand up. Why? Because if I sit down, they lose? Okay. So you're telling me your brain thinks it's in control of the Green Bay fucking Packers, but not your own happiness? Shut up. And how many times do we do that? I don't want to jinx that. I don't want to tell anybody I got that Fox call back because I don't. You think your brain controls Fox Studios, motherfucker? Your brain is so arrogant. It thinks that if you said out loud that you got an interview, that Fox would change its fucking mind because you said it out loud? You know how dumb that is? Jesus Christ, man. But you don't think you can just decide to be happy when you wake up in the goddamn morning?
Right. You think those dirty socks you wear every week are going to help them win, but you can't think that you have some control in your own destiny?
Yeah.
At least be an active participant, show up for yourself. How do you think the Packers started winning, or how do you think that athlete became good? They had consistency in their life.
I say to kids all the time, success follows confidence, not the other way around.
Sure.
You can't wait. You can't wait to be good at shit to feel good about yourself.
Right. You
feel good about yourself first, and then you'll fucking.
That's why I do believe you got to fake it till you make it, in that you got to show up for yourself until you build the experience to be really confident. You can't always be confident from the beginning. Don't let that stop you. Just show up. You know what I mean?
I think there's
if you want to be an athlete, but you're
you
not 100%
have talent.
confident. Yes, but you got to show up.
You have to show up for sure. But the thing I think that we need to worry about the most is you need to find what your talent is.
I agree.
Find what you're good at. Okay? Like
And
I could have killed myself trying to become a basketball player because I was in Indiana. But I sucked at basketball.
Do you think it's talent and passion, or just
no?
Talent?
It's 90% talent. People are like, is comedy hard? I'm like, everything's hard if you're bad at it, man. Fucking, you can make yourself into something. Adam Archuleta fucking built himself from a 5'10" fucking kid into an NFL player. It can be done. I'm not saying it's not possible. Sure. Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's people out there that have built themselves into fucking things. That's cool. I'm just saying, why would you want to work that goddamn hard? How about you just pick something you're already good at and just flourish doing that? Why do you want to do something that's not natural to you? I don't get it.
I understand the aptitude and natural and some talent, but then the passion. If you don't have the passion, you're not going to put in the work.
Yeah, see, I don't like
You
work.
have to have both.
I think work's cheating.
Well, work meaning
like if Michael Jordan was so good at basketball, why do you have to try? Why do you have to try so hard?
He had to work at it. He
wasn't that
play
good.
hard
Because he wasn't that good. The greatest basketball player in the world wouldn't have to work hard. That's what I'm saying. That's why MJ's not the GOAT. That's why LeBron's the GOAT. He doesn't work as hard as MJ. I actually think Tracy McGrady's the GOAT because he never did shit, and that dude was a badass. But that's my point. Like,
They still worked their ass off, though. It didn't happen on its own. Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady.
He just woke up and played basketball?
There are people who just woke up. Ricky Williams just woke up and played football. He did put no effort in. He didn't give a fuck.
I can't say.
Right, and 1 out of a million is Adam Archuleta.
That's
What I'm saying is, and again, this is probably where we differ. I do not respect hard work. I think hard work is stupid. And if you work hard at something, you're a shill.
What does hard work mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Doing shit you don't want to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying putting in the time.
Oh, then you're just fucking whining about the thing you love.
Putting
hard work.
Effort.
If you're doing something you love, it's not hard work. Shut the fuck up. If I'm doing comedy, I can't. No, my point is people get on a cross. I work. Fuck you.
I don't say that.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying don't call that hard work. Hard work is waking up at 5 a.m. and going busting fucking rocks or doing some shit you fucking hate or sending out a fucking 1,000 emails or fucking practicing a thing 100 times so you nail it instead of just showing up and doing it because you're fucking good. That's what I'm saying. Like putting extra push-ups in, all that shit. Right? I mean, I don't mean you just eat bonbons and fucking Cheetos and shit and you got to do the thing you got to do. I mean, I got to go on stage. What I'm saying is like fucking the guys that sit 10 hours in a fucking coffee shop and whatever. I'm like, I didn't get into this to do that. Like I've always thought like, yeah, I went to college. I took the SAT. I went to college, a place that took 400 points less than I got, so I wouldn't have to study. Like my goal was to get an A in the class without reading the book. If I had to read the book, I felt like a chump. Now, that's because my dad's a big hard worker, and now I'm realizing at high that's just my whole fucking persona is based on this idea that I wanted to rebel against my father. So maybe I'll switch that. But my point is like, all right, there we go. There's my breakthrough. Nice work.
Yeah. I used to think like if I read a book on chess that I was cheating, but like then I realized all the chess masters study.
That's why I have no respect for chess, though. That's why I have no respect for chess.
Right.
Because it's not original. No, chess is the most unoriginal thing ever.
Right.
Like when I saw that Queen's Gambit, I'm like, all you had to do was study a bunch and just memorize what other people did? Fuck you. You're not good at chess. You got a good memory. Eat a dick. If you're not named after one of the moves, I don't give a fuck about you in chess.
You are, but you kind of in love with the romantic idea of like being naturally like good at something, which is what like. No,
I just am naturally good at something.
You are.
And it pisses me off that people get past me because they work harder than me. It bothers me.
Oh, it bothers you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm naturally good at this. If no one else worked, I'd be the most famous person on the planet.
Hard work beats talent every time, right? And you don't like that.
I hate that. Talented people hate the fact that they keep getting outworked.
Chris, that's hilarious. I'm just mad that the fuckers that work hard are passing me up.
Because I'm like, well, fuck, man.
But you don't want to make money, you said, or do you?
No, I don't care about money. No, I don't care about money.
Do you want to put fuel in the jet? Like, do you have a need to travel and like do the things you want? Like that's.
I mean, look, man.
Here's the
deal. Okay, here's hungry person. Now, I have a 200. Okay, I developed an app. We're developing an app right now.
Yeah.
I got 2 of the smartest people I've ever met combined to work on one of my ideas.
The truth is, you're not going to need money soon.
Well, I don't know. I don't know or not.
You made it seem like you need $3,000 a month.
No. I'm saying this app's not going to go anywhere.
You're just a simple man.
No, I'm saying this app's probably not going to go anywhere. What I'm saying is in the.
I don't believe that. For 1 second, Chris Bowers.
All right.
Is this app not going to go anywhere, Chris Bowers?
All right. I'll tell you the app. And tell me
why are you working on it?
Here's the app. You ready? Tell me something. It's in development.
Sure.
It's in beta right now.
All right.
It's. Imagine if every time someone liked one of your Facebook posts, they gave you a nickel.
Okay.
So we're going to take micropay to social media.
And
we built a skin,
okay,
right? That goes over so when you're on it's right now it's on a laptop because it's not on phone yet because that's way more expensive. But the prototype we built is it's a browser, right? So you go to your browser and it's just a skin that lays over. So if you're on Facebook, right, and let's say one of your artist friends, you set your basic tip amount for whatever you want to tip, and so you just micropay people. And so you get you've got 15 cents a day or whatever, but you might get $5. The goal is to build what I'm calling a comedy middle class. Like right now, you're broke as fuck till you're a millionaire.
Right.
I'd like you to be able to have 1,000 people that liked you, and you don't have to wait tables because they'll like your Facebook post for $0.25, or your grandma will give you $1.
Right.
And they're not giving you money. You have to produce shit. You have to put stuff out there, but people like it. And then if something goes viral, you make fucking $100,000 or something crazy, right?
Right.
So that's what it is. That's the app, and it's called Social Capital. So I think it's a cool name.
That's cool as hell. Let me understand it better, though.
Okay.
As a layman. So I am a user.
Yeah, so
I voluntarily put this app on.
So basically, it's like an easy pass. Yeah. So like let's say you want to tip artists because through the pandemic, you learned to tip. Because the other thing, during the pandemic, people realized, we should pay for this.
Right.
Everyone's starving to death. They realized, artists
They're not going to keep making
because people thought that artists were making. realize people thought artists made thousands of dollars when they played a comedy club. They thought we were all rich because no one knew that. No one knows. I mean, you think people on television are all rich, right? You don't know that, you know, I mean, Jodie Sweetin, who's from Full House, is good. She's on our show a bunch, and she's like a middle-class lady. Right. I mean, she probably has some money from the new reboot, but for a while, she's a regular person. But you think, oh, you're on Full House, you must have to be a zillionaire. And that's not the case a lot of times, right?
Absolutely.
So once the pandemic hit and people realized how poor comics really were, they were like, oh, we want to help these people. Same with singers and all that shit. So the point is, you would sign up for an account because you want to tip people and be a patron of the arts, essentially. But you don't want to like spend a bunch of money, right? You filled up like an Easy Pass. You put like $50 on there. That's why there's only that's why there's only one fee. Because if you did it at nickel every time, it'd cost you 15 cents for every nickel, and you'd never make any money, right? So you put $50 on there like an Easy Pass, and that's just in your account, and then we just keep track of it, and you can set your minimum tip whatever you want. And so you can go out and find comics and tip their jokes. You can tip a video.
And I get access to like exclusive content, or it's just
no, it's just thank you.
Anything. You're not
getting anything for it. It's supporting art.
Got it.
That's what it's for. So it's like,
how do you get people to sign up? Just curious.
Same thing as Patreon. I mean, Patreon right now is a thing that I don't.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Josh just told me about it. I don't know anything about it because I'm old. But
Patreon, well, it's not even. I mean,
educate me though.
It's basically
it's a way to pay for content. Like you get extra. You get my content.
Well, so like in our for example, our thing. So for $100 a month on our Patreon, you get a front row ticket every day. And then a front row tickets on the Zoom call, and then it gets you 2 game entries. And we have some levels that there's higher levels where you get merch. I mean, hell, there's a $28,000 level on our Patreon where we'll come to wherever you live and do the show from your house. Now, no one's going to probably do that one, but that's what it is. So basically, it's like if you have so basically bands and artists, there's all kinds of people that have a ton of money that don't really know what to do with it, and they'll just give it to art. They'll support artists. They buy paint, and I think through the pandemic they realized that comics are artists worth supporting too. But like I have a buddy named Trevor who was in O-Town, the boy band. And so like they stopped touring. So once I learned the Patreon from, we did it. I made Trevor do one. He'd never done one before. And he's got like 100 and some Patreons, and they pay him, X number of dollars a month and every month. And so he does like workout videos for them, and he'll like call them on their birthday at a certain level. So you just set what you're comfortable giving people. Like if you have fans, and then like, there's a $250 level where, so the big joke, this is real, but I haven't eaten a fruit or a vegetable since 1996. I just don't eat fruits or vegetables. And so when we started the show, that became a thing.
That's funny.
And then one of the Patreon tiers is if you pay $250 a month, once a month, you get to make me eat a vegetable. And so my mom joined the Patreon to make me eat a fucking vegetable. It was like the biggest backfire of all time. But anyway,
that's the creative genius behind this, by the way. I want to recognize, because like what you do with Patreon, I'm learning. I don't really know that. I'm real.
And so there's all kinds
of quick learner, but
so like example, like I have a podcast.
You have to be creative.
I have a podcast called Origin Stories, right? Yeah. So we have a Patreon. It's Patreon only, honestly. We have 40 people that watch this thing, but we make $900 a month. So
and don't forget the cannoli.
And so we
don't forget the cannoli segment.
Gotcha.
Of the show, by the way, that we kind of do.
So anyway, my point is like so for I think it's $20 a month. You get tickets to all 4 shows.
So you're gonna help us come up with a creative patronage.
It's not even that creative. Listen to me. It's not even that creative. We have two levels, right? Yeah. There's 2 levels on that one. $20 a month gets you just you come to the show. Now we do it live.
To get naked? That's what I want to know.
I'm saying they come to the live show. It's only live, right? And then when you come, and then
take over the team.
So we broadcast it live on Zoom, so they get a ticket to the live show, and then access to all the archives. So we just archive them all on Patreon. It's already in the app. You do it all in there, and then so people for $10 a month, they can have access to any of the podcasts we've already done, and they can come to the one live and be part of the laugh and whatever. And for I think $45 a month, they can do a VIP. And that means, so our podcast is an hour, and then we do a half hour with VIP with they get asked questions to the guest.
I love it.
And so again, we have 40 or 50. I don't know how many patrons. We have about 30 or 40, and 35 people come watch this thing every week. And
yeah, it's like a show.
It pays better than any podcast.
But here's the thing, man, that I want to just say, because you're just, like you already said, you're creating like an online. You're creating an online a show, basically, where normally you'd sell tickets. You're doing a private experience. It's normally a private experience. Only people with tickets get in. There's 30 seats. There's 50 seats. There's 75 seats. You're just doing that online.
That's what Steve realized early on in the thing, where like the thing that the Zoom people were fucking up was it's unlimited. No, it's not unlimited. We can only sell a certain number of tickets because now you can sell tickets and it's limited. And that because what happened was it wasn't the tickets become unlimited, the audience became unlimited. So the tickets should become limited because, and here's the thing I think we should learn from the pandemic. And I'm seeing this with used cars and I've seen this with a bunch of other shit. And I think it's better, but it's a different way. America, since Walmart, since Sam Walton, has been everyone should have everything they can want as cheap as possible at all times.
Right.
And so we end up with all this shit we don't need that we don't care about. When really the only thing that's ever made anything valuable is scarcity.
Right.
So make less cars. You'll sell them for more. Have less seats. That's where it helped comedy because all these people had half full. They can only do half capacity.
5 books.
They only have half capacity, and they had to charge money to make sure that they filled what they did have. Because usually if you give out 400 tickets, 50 people show up. But if you can only give out 50 tickets, well, fuck, 5 people might show up. So you got to sell them because once people buy them, they'll show up. So the point is like,
and the more they cost, the more likely they'll show up.
So what we should do
in their head, they're like, I only pay $5.
And this is the problem with whatever. You cannot frugal your way into prosperity. That's not how it works. Like the cheapest shit, we became the cheapest people in America. The reason the middle class went away was not because of anything. It's because of us. We did it. Because you know what? A hammer used to cost $22 fucking dollars. And there was $8 in it for the guy who drove the truck, the guy that had the hardware store, the guy that fucking put the hardware there was $8 in that hammer to pay people in the goddamn middle to get it from wherever it was made to the fucking your house. Right? And then Amazon fucking said, hey, now a hammer's fucking $7. And no one else gets paid.
Man, I was thinking, by the way, just thinking about like, you know, the creative shows you come up with. Like, we can totally do a Patreon podcast for Misunderstood where people get a private seat on the couch.
There you go.
Virtually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
they can ask questions and be part of it.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't normally be able to be on a podcast. Here it's like a closed, we get to basically talk, like tell your story, blah, blah, blah. Get into like therapeutic questions, like how would I handle something like this? And then you sell tickets to that.
Yeah.
And then you're doing what you love and you're helping people.
From your house.
And people would do it all over the world. Ani, we should totally do a Patreon. What is it? Patreon? Like podcast where like it's limited seating. It's 10 people. Because also, to your point, Chris, if you also sell unlimited seats, you can't give everybody attention.
Right. But and what I'm saying is I think if things are scarce, that's what I'm talking about, the Comedy Store thing. Like, let's start making things scarce again. Don't make everyone can buy your fucking car.
Right.
Make it where not everybody can get your car. So when they find one, I mean, like Tesla kind of did that. There's a 2-year wait to get a Tesla.
Right.
You can't just go buy a Tesla. So when you get one available, you buy it.
Right.
That's the best way to sell it rather than go just, it's cheap. I mean, fuck, man. I mean, how many times can people switch their car insurance? Seriously, who's fucking switching their car insurance this much? Who the fuck?
How many times can you switch?
I mean, I've switched once in my whole life because I moved here.
Yet?
Like, I mean, what the fuck? How
15% off every time is a lot of
my dad,
discount.
Right?
Like,
I'm saying my
9
dad.
9 rounds later.
My dad worked for an insurance company. I go, let me ask you a question, man. You had 5 corporate companies spending $1 billion each to get everybody to switch. Couldn't you just fucking not spend that money, not get anybody a cheaper rate, and all make the same amount of money? What the fuck is happening?
Right.
Like, I don't get.
Can't you guys just shake hands? Like the mafia used to just get around a table, the old mafia, and say, hey, guys, come on. Let's just work together. Let's make it scarce.
Right.
Let's not bastardize this. Let's not, just kind of.
That's what I'm saying. And Sam Walton was like, no, everyone gets everything. And, that I'm just saying we should get away from the idea that we can have anything we want at all times. And by the way, we've been kind of getting towards that anyway. If you've noticed, like, there's not as many 24-hour grocery stores anymore. Like, there was a moment where you literally in this country could get anything you fucking wanted at any time of any minute of anything. And people still bitched about the world sucking. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Dude,
You know how strawberries used to be like with the McRib? Dude, like, you couldn't just get strawberries all the time, you pricks.
Seasonal. Now nothing's seasonal.
No.
And it's like, the thing is, the people that come from the old country know that when you live somewhere where they're seasonal, they taste so much better because they're not artificially grown or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's
so
not even
by
that.
waiting, waiting,
it's not even that.
What do you think it is?
It's the waiting. Here's the thing. It's actually, you know what? I've been doing this crazy diet. Not crazy.
Yeah.
But actually, the first time in my life I've been doing a real good diet. Like I figured it out.
Except
like
for the fruits and vegetables part.
No. I'm saying, I think fruits and vegetables are the thing that kills you. But we'll get into that later. I think Big Pharma has you in their back pocket, and they've been, it's the oldest. It's the first thing the first business. So wouldn't you think their whole marketing pitch keeps you alive? I don't trust carrots. Fuck that. Right? So I'm saying I haven't had a single vegetable in 27 years other than the time I eat them on the show, and nothing. My cholesterol's perfect. I'm healthy. You do not need fruits and vegetables. It's all bullshit by Big Fruit. Anyway.
Big Fruit. Big Strawberry. Laying it down. We on to you, boy. We on to you, Big Strawberry.
Big Banana.
Shit. We on to your game, Big Banana, Big B. Don't make me come down. We represent the West Side. You know what I'm saying? We're talking grapes. Grapes and coconuts.
So, but what I'm realizing is, also when I started doing drugs. So I didn't do drugs till I was 40.
Perfect segue.
I didn't start doing drugs till I was 45.
Yeah.
Okay? So I partied balls my whole life, but booze. I was just a booze hound. Seriously, from 18 to, I still drank, but like 18 to 45, I was all out. And then I smoked weed here and there, but I didn't know how to get stoned, whatever, whole thing. And when I started doing drugs, I realized, and this happens with alcohol, but when it only happens with this one thing, you think it's alcohol. It's not alcohol. Drugs, the more you do a drug, the less it affects you. The more you have to do of that drug to feel the same thing you felt.
Right.
Okay? What I realized is that's not just drugs. That's fucking everything. Right? That's food. If you haven't had a potato chip in 6 months, you eat 3 potato chips, that's the best 3 potato chips you ever eat in your whole goddamn life. If you eat a bag of potato chips, the more potato chips you eat every day, you have to eat more fucking potato chips to get the same feeling you felt from the first goddamn time.
Great perspective.
So if you can realize that, so then you just don't eat shit for a long time, and then when you do, it's so much better. Right? Like that piece of pizza I just had was the best fucking pizza I've had in 7 months. But it's like I eat pizza once every
7 months.
3 months now. I've had a couple of other times where I was disappointed.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've had, but it's because also part of the
K's Bronx.
Yeah, K's Bronx, man. It was fucking awesome. I'm going to literally move up. By the way, I'm going to come up here all the time and get that pizza because the other rule of pizza is to be good pizza, it's got to be 40 minutes from your house. Anything you can get delivered, eventually you get sick of. But fucking pizza you have to go get, that's the shit. But part is because of the waiting. It was
recommended to me by a New Yorker, my business partner, who said it's the best New York style pizza in the Valley, and I've been going to them ever since. We've had no complaints, but you're right. I love the perspective.
So my point is that if you keep eating all these potato chips, the reason that you're fat, you smoke a bunch. Again, you start at 10 milligrams of edibles and it fucks you up, and then 7 months later you're doing 150 a day and doesn't fucking hit
hidden cameras in my house,
right? I'm just saying that's how it works. The same thing is with potato chips. That potato chips make you fat. And the second thing I did, and this is the crazy thing, and this is where I'll go back to big fucking food. As big food is getting us, is so my buddy, we were blackout drunk one night, and my buddy Casey said, "Man, Bowers, I'm gonna follow you for 100, your comedy for 100 days." And my other buddy goes, "Oh, just 100 days, Casey? You're not gonna follow him longer than that?" And Casey looked at me and goes, "You do anything for 100 days in a row, it'll change your fucking life." And I thought, that seems pretty profound. I'm going to fucking try that. So January 1st, I started with a goal of doing something for 100 days in a row, but I picked 6 things because I was pretty sure I didn't want to just pick one in case I couldn't do it. So I picked a bunch. And so I wanted to, so I started.
What were the things, yeah?
So I started with, I did 1 push-up, 1 sit-up, walked for 1 minute, wrote 1 joke, and didn't drink any flavored drinks, like any soda, lemonade, Crystal Light, Diet Pop, anything other than water, and I drink beer, but other than that, no flavored stuff. And so the jokes were way too hard to write. It was pandemic. I couldn't perform as I was going to annoy people, so that fell by the wayside. The walking was just too much time on my day, but I'm still doing. I've 7 days. I got to the 100. Actually, I got to 139. I got 139 push-ups, 139 sit-ups. on my 139th day, and then I hurt my shoulder, so I had to like take a month off. But now I'm doing it. I started back at like 100, and then I add 5 a week. No, I started 120 and I had 5 a week. Anyway, so like, but what I figured out was when you drink only water, because that's still there. This is the thing that's changed my life. Drinking only water with your meals, the food that used to taste amazing, your Doritos, your fucking, all that shit, tastes terrible with water. Fucking awful. It takes you like a month to get used to the taste of water.
All right.
Because you don't know what it tastes like. Water tastes awesome. Once you get all that other shit out of your fucking brain. Right. The taste of water is the best taste there is. It's what we're fucking alive for, literally.
Right.
They need us. Our body's craving water all the time. That's why you get fat. Your body's craving water, and we're drinking fucking lemonade.
Right. Sugar.
We're not getting the water.
It quenches
right?
your thirst for a second. And
but where I think what food did to us was it fused those two together. It's the shitty food with the shitty drink.
Salt and sugar, man.
That makes the fucking amazing taste in your mouth.
Salty Doritos
you can eat pretzels
sugary,
with water.
Right.
It's garbage,
you
right?
Need the salt and sugar to offset each other.
Now I don't. So then I just stopped eating all that shit, and now I can still eat it occasionally. But I haven't had any sort of flavored drink. So those are the 3 I'm still on: is the push-ups, sit-ups, and the drinks. But I'm down. I've lost since New Year's. I've lost 45 pounds.
Damn. Bro.
And like I've never like. And I'm a different 215 than I've ever been. Like I've been 215 before where I was just like less skinny, but I've like literally I can tell
you have some muscle.
You know, like people have like the last 4 people that haven't seen me in 3 months that walked into my house went, oh fuck. So that's good. Right. Wow. But it was just this 100-day thing, man.
No wonder you're so funny. You were a fat guy. I'm just kidding.
No, I've been a skinny guy and a fat guy. I mean,
I'm kidding.
By the way, 3 years ago, I lost 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And won $1,000 from Pat McAfee, the punter for the Indianapolis Colts, because he bet me I couldn't lose 70 pounds by the end of football season, and I did it and won $1,000 from McAfee. Wow.
You're competitive, but now you're doing it like
I'm not competitive at all.
You know,
actually, no. I don't like to. And I think this is going away too. I think this might be a thing that I've gotten rid of with all this mushroom stuff I'm doing and figuring out, but. I like telling you I'm going to do something ridiculous and then actually following through and doing that. That's really funny to me.
Why?
It's just funny. To say you're not going to eat fruits and vegetables and then not fucking do it. You know how hilarious that is? To fucking not eat a fruit or vegetable for 25 years is the funniest goddamn thing on the planet, right?
You must love Andy Kaufman.
You know, I didn't get him, and I want the jokes. I like those jokes are funny to me. Like there's jokes I do for myself. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Maybe that's here's another revelation. There are jokes I do for myself that I don't need to be funny. Like my favorite joke I do to myself. I do this all the time. It's my favorite joke. You
don't need the other person to know.
Nope. I just do it by myself because when I travel, I'm always by myself. So I spent my life traveling, speaking at schools and comedy. I've just been all on the road, but it's solitary. You're by yourself all the fucking time, right? And so when I go into like a country gas station, this is so fun to do. Like, you know, when there's like, they have all that weird shit in there, you know, like all these weird fucking just knickknacks and trinkets and who the fuck, you know? And I like when there's like, you can tell the person's worked there forever, you know? And like, they've had this thing in there for 15 years. They've been trying to sell. Some guy convinced them to put it in the shop, and it's still there. Right. So I try to find the weirdest thing I can, and then I'll walk up to the register and I'll go, this is gonna be weird, but do you guys have? I want like a dream catcher, but I want it to have like a. It's gonna sound weird, but I want it to have like a wolf. With like devil horns and like purple feathers. Do you have anything like that? And then you see their face go, oh my God, I do have one of those. Holy shit. I'm going to sell the thing. I'm going to be the guy that sells the thing. And he takes me over to it and he goes, like a cat showing you a dead bird.
No way.
And then I look him right in the face and I go, no, I wanted a bigger one. And then I don't buy it.
Oh my God, you're brutal.
It makes me laugh so fucking hard every time it happens. I get so sad. And it's not real sad. It's not an actual sad.
You're not hurting anyone. It is funny. I feel bad for the guy, but you're not hurting anyone. It's not like you said his mom died or some shit.
Right.
You just made him think you were about to buy that monstrosity finally. And finally take this damn wart off of his nose.
Right. Yeah. So.
And then you're like, I wish that wart was bigger. No! If only I made it bigger.
Yeah.
They told me not to go bigger.
If I'd only made it bigger. I never thought about that
I
part.
should have never listened
Oh,
to her.
Oh, no.
I should have never listened to that bitch.
Now I need to say smaller, because then no one's ever thought they should have gotten smaller. Because I don't want him to go home and kill his wife, because she's the one that told him he would have sold his first sale. He's been a dream catcher artist for fucking 33 years. It was almost his first sale, but fucking Gladys told him to make it that size. So he murders her.
Oh, no. Dude, you might have caused...
shit. God damn
But it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, we got to understand. You don't save someone's life. You just prolong it, man. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Is it a good life? Like all the people that died all the people that survived the Titanic are still dead. It's not like they get to live forever. They just lived longer. So like, I don't know, What?
Oh, man. It's totally true.
Right? So,
Was it better?
I'm saying
would I have been better off had they not had appendicitis surgery? I think about that. If I was born, because they invent, and I got the old kind.
Yeah, me too.
But if I was born, you and I were born before like 19 whatever something.
Sure.
We would have been dead, probably, and that would have been it. So
yeah, maybe we'd have fought through it, or who knows, man? Maybe. I'm just saying, like,
it's just a prolonging. I'll still be dead someday.
Yeah, that's my point. So, like, it's like
I think it turned out better.
It's like if you pull someone out of the rubble in Haiti, are you helping them? I don't know. I don't know if you're helping them. Like, why do we? Literally, we need to stop. And this is new, by the way. This is new. We need to stop using length as the metric of what a good life was.
That's true.
When someone's 86 and they died, we're not sad. What if it sucked? What if it was 86 excruciatingly terrible years where it never worked out and it was always fucked and you were always worried and then finally you died?
Right.
That's who should be sad for. 86 years of that? Jesus.
Exactly.
We're going to cry when fucking Elvis dies?
Kind of like when someone...
well, fuck, man.
It's kind of like when somebody says they've been married for 39 years. I don't automatically clap. I think, well... Is that good or bad? Because depends.
Right.
I'm not going to clap unless I want your misery.
And that's what I'm saying.
That might be 39 years of prison time.
Yes. So let's stop talking about length. Who gives a fuck how long somebody lived? And that's new. Like, that's only 100 years old. And that's actually what the pandemic is about on some level, is this is the first... Like, how old are you for real?
47.
I'm 48. Yeah, perfect. So think about this. We're the first people... we're within 5 years of the first people... to ever get to 48 years old without ever thinking there was a good chance they would just die randomly.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Half my dad's class died in Vietnam.
Right.
His dad's class all died in World War II.
Right.
Then there was polio and measles and whooping cough. In 1900, you had 6 kids because 2 of them were going to die and you weren't sure which fucking 2. She didn't love any of them all that goddamn much. That's what happened. But this is the first time where we got rid of death. We figured it out. That's why COVID's so fucking scary, because none of us have to even fucking deal with it ever before. Right?
I was saying that if COVID happened, like 60 years ago, they wouldn't have shut down.
No, because they just had Vietnam. They were sending people away to die for dumb shit. But my point is,
now we're so used to the comfort.
But also on some level that's a good thing,
right? It's a good thing.
Right? I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, the fact that we get to watch Netflix through our fucking apocalypse is, really, we're gonna bitch. I mean,
it wasn't horrible.
I mean, so
I binged Alone,
dude,
while I was sick.
I mean.
And it made me go, this isn't so bad. These guys were out in the Antarctic.
I spent the first 6 months partying with friends I hadn't seen for a long time. I just fucking fired up Zoom and nobody had anything to do, so we just got drunk in our houses by ourselves for fucking 6 months. It was a blast. I met a bunch of cool people and brought a bunch of people around, and we hung out with these people from all over the world, and I have best friends in fucking Australia now and fucking Germany and shit. that like I had my friend Zara's a law professor who hunts fucking poachers down in Australia with drones. Wow. She's one of my best friends. She lives in Australia and she's a fucking smoke show and she's cool as shit and funny and awesome. But she comes in Zoom and I'm like, whatever. So we're like, so all this shit happened. That was cool. And then, you know, things started opening up again and I started like, all right, let's, and I started doing mushrooms actually. And I started working on, fucking, I'll do one more of those at this point.
Careful because the filter keeps coming out. So just grab it by that. Yeah.
And started working on these anxiety issues, all these little things, all these little programs running around in my head, and that's what mushrooms helped me with. Was I was able to when I can identify them.
I'm down to do something.
I always joke that I've been joking recently that the difference between drinking and drugs is the lessons you learn when you're doing drugs you remember.
Interesting.
Because there's a million times I've gotten all drunk and like, oh, that's what we should do to that's because you're dead, man. And we hug and we figured it out. And the next day we just wake up hungover and we don't know what the fuck we talked about.
Right.
But if you do that on mushrooms and your girlfriend's like, oh, this, and we figure out like, I'll give you an example. So, when I first met my girlfriend, I'd been divorced twice, and I was just too much. I don't know. I won't get to the whole thing, but basically,
give me the whole thing.
I'll get to that later. But I'm saying I'll lose this point because I'm high. But so what I realized was like, oh, I have to be the person who stops kissing first, right? Because what I would do is if I ever hooked up with a girl who was hot, I would just want to make out with her fucking all night because this isn't going to happen again. I'm me, right? Like I didn't have the confidence to think, oh, she's going to date me because that's not what happens. I would meet somebody, we'd have one great night, and then they wouldn't want to see me anymore. Which is fine. So, but I thought part of that was because I wasn't creating any scarcity. She knew I really liked her. So I was like, okay, stop kissing first. Right. And
let
so
them come to you
the first girl that I ever did the stop kissing first on was Chrissy, my girlfriend. Right. So that just wasn't part of our relationship in the very beginning because I was kind of had that in my head. Right. Well, turns out Chrissy was kind of a late bloomer. Like she had her first boyfriend like right before me because she was only 21 when I met her. So like she never got to make out like all the other kids got to in middle school and high school or whatever. So our whole relationship, she just wanted to make out a whole bunch because I had this dumb thing in my head. We didn't forever. We would kiss, but it wasn't like what she wanted. And so we took mushrooms and she fucking mentioned something about it and we fucking figured all this out. And now we make out all the. I love making out. It's my favorite thing. I was only holding back because I didn't want to scare her. I didn't want to scare her away.
You changed who you were to try to get someone to like you. When the truth is, you needed to just look for the person that liked you for who you were.
Right. And what's fucked up is
likes to fucking kiss.
Right. And what's fucked up
is if they don't like to kiss, that's fine.
Yeah. You know what's great is
next.
No, but wait, full 10 minutes. Thank God. But here's the thing, Chrissy was that person.
Right.
Actually, if I would have given up one person later, she would have fucking. It would have been perfect. But because I didn't, so you're right. You're completely right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying though but that was a miscommunication in our relationship.
Great.
But we figured it out, and because it was on mushrooms and not booze, the next day we woke up and it changed our world.
Amazing.
And so that's the kind of thing I think you get those cobwebs that anyway, I don't know what other people do. When I identify one of those cobwebs, I'm like, oh fuck, that's what it was.
Oh, once like something clicks for me, whether it's mushrooms or otherwise, it's just mushrooms probably helps you.
It just helps you. It helps you cut through your own bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
When I take mushrooms and I say something, I go, "Oh, that was to impress somebody. Oh, that was to do this."
Right. You're self-aware.
I'm self-aware of the because we've all built these little moves that we have, these little ways we get through the world, these little things that we do. You know, you drop this little line, you know how to say that, you know, to do this or whatever, and it's like. But sometimes you're full of shit. And when I'm on mushrooms, my brain's like, no, that's just a coping mechanism you figured out. Yeah. That's not actually what you think.
And you can't get away from your self-awareness.
But I like that because once I realize that's what I'm doing, then I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that.
Right. So it's opened you up a lot.
Yeah.
Why did you say that you've been waiting for this a long time, this podcast or something like it, not this?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Specifically? Oh, I'm just because what I'm trying to do here is build that thing. Right. So, that's where I'll go with the app. So my app idea, like if the app ever hit, right? Let's say the app made me $200 million just because I own 20% of the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that
laugh was great.
I'm hoping that we build a thing. I think we have a good name, and I'm hoping a company comes in and says, oh, this is going to revolutionize everything.
Right.
Here's the money, and we'll go, yes, thank you. Like, I don't want to run a tech company. That's not my
Right.
goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just had this idea, and Steve and Chris know how to make that shit work, and so we're trying to make it happen, and we'll see. But the $200 million plan is, first thing I do is I'd buy my apartment complex, which is $30 million, right? I know that because they just sold it, right? And then I would just pay everyone to leave, whatever they wanted. Some people could stay if they wanted, but I mean, because I want to just bring my own people in, right? And then just like, so then we would create a colony of people of just like, here's the deal, whatever you are, right? There's artists, we'll have artists, whatever. And I would just like, your room and board's paid, right? Like somebody would make pizzas, and then we have a pizza apartment. If you want pizzas, we'd make the apartment. We like put a sliced window in their house or whatever, and that's
whatever,
part of your,
like a Smurf village.
We just figured it out, right? So it's like, but it's like a commune.
Like a Smurf village.
It's like it'd be a commune if it had money, right? Like I don't want to be a hippie, but like if like people could fucking create without worrying about starving to death,
it's
and everybody was hanging out and it was cool. Right, that's what I would do. Right, so people would live there, and I mean, like Steve's doing this in Pittsburgh with comics. That's called the Steel City Arts Foundation.
I love it.
He bought this old church.
I love the art house idea.
So
he's talked to Anya about that, like an art house type. It doesn't have to be one way, but to bring creatives together, to share living space, to create together.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this is kind of so the fact that this is what I'm trying to think about.
I'm stretching my sciatica, by the way. So.
Okay.
Just don't think I'm being weird.
You caused what you fear.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't even notice until you told me. Now it's going to look weird. Anyway, so I'd do that, and then I'd buy the Comedy Store. I don't know what that would cost, but I think I could get the Comedy Store for $25-30 million probably. Maybe I don't know what they would sell it to me for. I'd like to buy the Comedy Store, and then I would take $100 million, okay, and I would give it to 100 people. I'd take $1 million and give it to 100 people that are my people. Because then, I already did it. I already gave you the money. Here's the money. Hang out with me or don't. Don't hang out with me because I have the money.
Right.
Here's the money. If you still like me and want to hang out, cool. Now we all have money. I'm not going to hold it over your head. Here's $1 million. Let's go. Right?
Let's go.
And if you don't want to hang out with me, cool. Again, that's your choice. I'm just saying, like, that's.
And out of 100, you figure, look.
I mean, some of them are my parents. It's not like Chrissy's parents. It's not like, they all have to come live in my house. Sure. That's not my point. What I'm saying is there's going to be some people where, like, rather than like them have to like drive my car to get their $1 million, I'm just going to give them the $1 million first. And if they want to hang out and drive the car after that, cool. But it's not to get the money. They already have the money.
Right.
They can buy all the shoes they want and whatever they want. They're going to live here, and we're going to do it because it's not about money. It's about everybody having the same shit, right? Anyway, I would do that, but here's the fun part. Here's what I would do. So if you ever get this text, this is what it's about.
Oh,
okay.
I'm listening.
I'm also going to take $2 million.
Yes.
And I'm going to fucking send a text to every number that's in my phone at that moment, and say, "Hey, it's happening. Meet me in Vegas at whatever or wherever I decide. And fucking whoever gets there, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going, but we're spending $2 million until it's gone. And we don't decide what that's going to be until we all get there. If it's fucking 7 of you trust that text message and show up, fuck, we're going to Dubai, right? But if it's fucking 273 people, well, fuck, we'll have a great time in Vegas or whatever, wherever we decide to go, Hawaii, whatever.
We can fly out of Vegas.
Yeah, so you just need to get yourself there and have enough money to get home. Right. And we're going to spend $2 million till it's gone, and then you get yourself home.
I'm in.
That's the $200 million plan. Now,
what a vision board that was, man. Like we always talk about vision board. Oh, I got a vision board. This is what I want. Career. I want an album, gold record, film. That's the kind of vision board you might as well go for if this is a simulation.
Right. For sure.
Why would you, we're always talking about, hey, this could be a simulation. Let's have a vision board because shit. Then you kind of have intention behind it and you start making things happen because you just got it in your head. So why not go for the big one?
I swear to God, talking about a hero trial, we'll go back to a hero trial. That exact thing you're talking about. I was in Indianapolis, and this was that week where we had all those people came in. So it's the coolest I've ever felt. I have fans for real.
Yeah.
There's this piano bar I go to in Indianapolis where I'm kind of the mayor. Like fucking about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, Craig Robinson from The Office,
Yeah.
the piano player guy,
Yeah.
right? He came to my club as a comic. And so, he's awesome, but he just plays the piano the whole time and sings songs. But like, he's not, I mean, some of them aren't even funny. He plays Sing Sweet Caroline.
Name me a song.
He does all that stuff. It's awesome. And the crowd loves it and they have a great time. And he's super funny. He plays funny songs in between and makes jokes. But anyway, so afterwards he's like, so are we going out? Because that's kind of the reputation of my club, is we took people out. And I said, yeah, man, would you want to go to the piano bar? And he goes, would they let me play piano? And I said, yeah, they'll let you play piano, man. So I call my guy and I go, hey, you know Craig Robinson from The Office? He goes, Durrell? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah? I go, well, he's at my club tonight and he wanted to know if he could come play piano. He's like, shut the fuck up, dude. I go, no, I swear. He goes, really? I go, yeah. Can I bring him through the kitchen? He goes, yeah. So I bring Craig Robinson through the kitchen, this piano bar, and he plays piano from like whatever time we got there, midnight, because the show was over at like 11:45. We got there at 12:30 maybe. He played from 12:30. They shut down at 3, and then he played for the staff till 6 in the morning. And we just hung out and partied and had a fucking blast. It was awesome, right? And during that night, I mean, Indianapolis is not that big a town.
Him, by the way.
There's this broader area, right? And that's where all the bars are. There's like 40 bars in this like little tiny town. You know how towns are, you know, places. Yeah, places. Anyway, so
places.
See, that's the kind of thing where I hear myself being condescending, and I'm like, "See, Dick, shut up." Right? So anyway, so people were like packing this bar, like, "Oh, Craig Robinson!" Like people lost their minds, and they were packed for months after that because people thought that's what celebrities go in Indianapolis. Because it happened once and people are dumb. But still, it made them so I'm like the celebrity of this place. Like that's my place. So every time I go back in town, we go. So I had this whole thing, but I had my main piano player, Jay. He played the night before with all of our fans. We did the show. He played piano before the show started. And then we did dueling pianos downtown at a different bar. But I hired Jay to do it, and then I basically just ran karaoke for our fans, and he would play songs that we would sing. Karaoke, by the way. And so it was a super blast.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.